So as the blind person yourself, when you're planning to do the approach, they can be a little tricky, a little rocky, a lot of inclines. So I recommend if you have multiple canes at home, grab something sturdy, maybe an older cane or an aluminum cane, something really strong, because that can also help you as you get up. But just prepare that sometimes the approaches can be complicated, and that's totally okay.
So one difference between climbing indoors and outdoors is the physical barrier of actually getting to the crag or the approach. So the guidebook might say it's 15 to 25 minutes, but with someone who might not be able to see the trail, it might take a little bit longer. We also want to keep in mind the width of the trail. So if it's a little bit wider, you can stand next to the person and they can grab onto your shoulder and we can just be walking normally. But if it's a trail that's a little bit skinnier, the person can be grabbing onto your backpack and you can be leading the way. Another thing to consider is the looseness of the rocks. So is there going to be an incline? Is the rocks going to be a little bit scrambly as you're going up? So just all factors to consider when you're getting to the crag, and also considering which crags you're choosing to climb at.
One of the things you want to think about ahead of climbing is your communication setup. So when you're coming outdoors, what can happen sometimes is even when you're only 20, 30, 40 feet up, the ambient noise can affect your ability to hear. And I've had that situation before where I couldn't not hear my collar on the ground at all, even though when I'm in a gym, even 50 feet up, I am able to. So think a little bit ahead of time. Do you want to have a sports headset like what we have? Do you want to do a phone call, or are you just going to climb very short routes so that you can make sure that you can both hear each other?
So we're going to be using some SWATCOM headsets, and these rely on radio waves, so that way we can get instantaneous feedback in terms of what I'm saying and what she's hearing. And that's really great so that when there's some minor details, she's able to respond really quickly. It also helps with the idea of if we're in a rural setting, we don't have reliable cell phone service, we're still able to communicate with one another. And it also means I don't have to shout on the ground and disrupt everyone else climbing outdoors, enjoying all the nature sounds. So Francis here put up the jaws as he went up and then got lowered down. At this point, now we're just going to pull down on the draw side to make sure that Emmeline climbs up on the side that's directly from the ground up to the anchor, so she doesn't have to hit those quick draw points and undo the rope from the carabiner as she gets there, because that can be a little bit tricky to undo. So before Emmeline starts climbing, we want to talk about where she's going to be going. So I basically look at where the draws are and tell her that from ground to the first one, she's going to be going from bottom right to top left. Then it's going to be straight up for a few more feet, and then it's going to be going from bottom left to top right. The wall angle here is slab, so it's kind of leaning forward a little bit, which is helpful that the climber can consider. And right now on this wall, there aren't any giant features or ledges, such as a horizontal ledge that you could lay on. There are no trees in the way. There are no roofs that she could hit her head on. But all those things are things that you want to notify your climber about beforehand, so she can have a few landmarks of the route before she starts going. Go up to your left, left 10. Good. Right foot 3 higher than your right knee. Left foot, left 1 up 8. Right foot can go left 2. It'll be on a more sturdy ledge. Left hand goes to your left. Left even more, a ret, good. From your right hand up 20, left 2, so it's 5 higher than your left hand. So right foot knee height, but right 6, stepping up where you were grabbing before. Down 4, right 2, good. Stand up. Nice. You're gonna reach up to your left above your forehead, straight up. There you go, right there, nice. Stand all the way up, nice. Left foot, good. You're gonna go to your left a little bit more. Good. Right foot 4 to the right of your right knee. Nice. Down 2. Perfect. Right hand straight up 10. Got it. All right. On that route, you might have noticed that I was kind of refining what Emmeline was doing rather than giving her directional cues in terms of where the next hold was. That's because Emmeline's been climbing for a bit and she kind of has this natural progression of how she moves. And then I can just tell her, oh, there's a better ledge here, or this might be a better foot for later. And then the main thing you also want to consider is once she gets to the anchor, you also want to call basically on the way down, because there were some ledges and you don't want to give them like an unexpected like slip off the ledge, or like having them lean back and like twist in any way. So you call on the way up, and also make sure you call on the way down until their feet are comfortably and safely on the ground.
One thing that I love about outdoor climbing is just this feeling of exploration. When you're in the gym, things are prescribed, and that can be good for training and that kind of gist. But when you're outside, there's just so many more opportunities to be creative and choose your own route. And as a blind person, it's just very tactile and very interesting, and you feel all the features of the rock, and you really get to experience nature in a different way. So I definitely think there's something special about outdoor climbing as a blind person, and if you ever have the chance to do it, I highly recommend getting out there. It is possible to just come out, do your own thing, get up the wall, and do it kind of in the traditional way, if you will, but just with your own blind spin. So something to keep in mind as well is you definitely have more options about how you approach an outdoor wall. So those are the fundamentals of climbing as a blind person, and we hope they help get you started on the wall. So find a local adaptive climbing program near you, and if you're ever in Utah, check out the National Ability Center for even more incredible adaptive sports programming. And if you'd like to keep up with me, you can find me on Instagram. Links are in the description below. Climb on!
Thanks for watching.